of the adversarial forge. You know, tonight I want to talk about the Holy Trinity, Invocation, Evocation, and Transmutation. There's been a sudden surge of interest in regard to evocation. Uh, I understand why. I mean, it is a lot easier in your mind, I'm sure, to summon a spirit forth to physical manifestation. See if you can get it to agree on performing the task that you have for it, getting a yay or nay, and sending it on its way. But, although that may be true, evocation to physical manifestation is a very advanced occult operation. And what most people don't realize is that this level of trance is developed through the practice of other occult operations, developing intuition through divination, through scrying, through meditation, and simply learning to receive information instead of project it and truly listen. Um, these things all play an important part in regard to the success of physical manifestation. However, I'm going to say that people often forget that the concept of invocation and evocation are mutually dependent. And I say that because these are two ends of two polarities of Hermeticism. As above, so below, as within, so without. So the process of invocation and evocation are intermingled. They weave themselves together, guys. Now, here's how I approach this. A certain number of days before the evocation is assigned to invocation. It is assigned to making offerings to the spirit. At this point in time, an altar is set up, which is dedicated to the entity, and it's dedicated to the entity in question. Corresponding colors of candles will be used. Corresponding altar cloth colors are used. Statues, animals which correspond, as well as herbs that are held sacred to the entity, that vibrate at a rate that's compatible with them. Liquor or wine, mead. And what this does, guys, is it sets you up as the altar of sacrifice when you are in the circle and preparing to evoke. It brings the energy of the spirit into the temple, and the temple begins to resonate at a frequency and vibrate at a frequency which is compatible to the spirit, but it also opens your heart to them. And here's how this works. You have this altar sitting in front of you dedicated to the spirit. Now, these are dead until through your heart, through sacrifice and offering, you pour energy into the altar, summon the entity forth, and then invoke it, bringing the spirit inward. So it is a reciprocal force, just like EA's method of structuring a spirit. You form an outline to put some energy out there, and then it just reciprocates until the entity manifests. This is really the same process. It is the same methodology applied in a different way in invocation. But there's certain things that you also need to do to make sure that you are aligning with the spirit. During this period of time, a dream journal is of utmost importance. Paying attention to circumstances and your surroundings is also very important. Is the God speaking to you through people or circumstance? These are subtle things that many neophytes neglect to observe. And what they don't realize is that these are occult phenomena. And the more you open yourself up to these experiences, the more you open yourself up to perceive the spirit standing in front of you in a beholdable form. So after this process of invocation, you've been reciprocating and recycling this energy and allowing it to flow through you. You're allowing the current of this spirit to reside within you. During evocation, the altar is taken down. The temple is already vibrating at a welcoming frequency, and I become the altar. I've successfully brought this spirit in and aligned with it, and I have opened up and carved the pathway for it to rise through the rings of reality and stand in the triangle of manifestation. This invocation and evocation leads to transmutation. You know, just like physical people, when you enter their sphere of energy, many times they leave a part of themselves with you. This is way more true and way more intense when it comes to spirits that have never inhabited a physical body. This process will definitely make these spiritual presences, these spiritual intelligences, a regular part of your everyday life. It will transform you, sometimes for the good, sometimes for the bad. You know, lack of discipline will definitely put you, at the very least, in bad circumstances in regard to your life experience. These are not things to be dabbled with. And I think it's kind of dangerous to focus only on evocation and compartmentalize it to where it is your only focus. Because it's not the perception of the spirit that is the goal, it is the results in regard to the amount of knowledge and wisdom you can obtain, the results in regard to being able to change circumstances within your life so that you can focus more on ascension and fulfilling your own human potential. You know, it's, to me, the Holy Trinity. Invocation, along with evocation, leads to transmutation. There's no doubt about that in my mind. My life experience has not been an easy one, but I can tell you right now that uh, I have opened and closed a lot of fucking doors. And a lot of it came through trial and error and absorbing what is useful to me, rejecting the garbage, and adding what is specifically my own, if I paraphrase Bruce Lee. So, really give this a shot, guys. Try not to look at invocation and evocation as two separate occult arts, because to me they are mutually dependent. I remember a couple years ago within the Temple of the Adversarial Forge, we had this discussion, and I have felt this way since then, that a process of invocation should be done first in order to be able to physically manifest an entity. And this was way before Become a Living God, guys. This was right around the time of Evoking Eternity, I believe. And it's just been the way I've felt for a long time. It's one of those principles in my occult practice that has not changed. So go ahead and give it a shot, and get a hold of me. Message me. Let me know what kind of results you get. And as a side note, if you fail to get a physical manifestation, don't stress. Don't stress out. Follow through with the rite as if the spirit is there, and pay attention to your dreams. Just as I said before, pay attention to your external circumstances. Listen for the influence of the spirit in question in things around you. Watch for these results to happen and expect them to. And as you open yourself up to this, you are carving that gateway from the external world into the internal world. You are carving the pathway between the conscious and the subconscious mind. A lot of the success of evocation relies on this one thing. It is your ability to become a receptor instead of a projector. Infernal blessings.